Forgiveness, the ego's plan. The ego too has a plan of forgiveness because you are asking for one, though not of the right teacher. The ego's plan, of course, makes no sense and will not work. By following its plan, you will merely place yourself in an impossible situation to which the ego always leads you. The ego's plan is to have you see error clearly first and then overlook it. Yet how can you overlook what you have made real? By seeing it clearly, you have made it real and cannot overlook it. Once we see the error as real, someone has done, said, or thought something that is wrong, we have fallen in line with the ego's wishes of seeing the problem where it is not, i.e., in the world, the bottom of the chart. And I will go ahead and move to the chart. So you can see in the world, which is the bottom box of the chart, where the error is seen, not where it is, which is the mind. The ego wants us to see the problem outside the mind, never wanting us to see the problem in the mind. It made the world for the precise purpose of our perceiving errors around us and calling them sins. Still further, the clever ego never lets us see the problem of guilt. It does not want us to see in the mind is itself not real. So it does not want us to see in the mind is itself not real. This is how viciously ingenious the ego's insanity is, and there is a brilliant method to its madness, which we all share. In order to keep us from the decision-making part of our minds, the ego makes up a story of our separation from God, culminating in the belief that we have sinned. This engenders overwhelming guilt and terror as we, in our delusional and paranoid state, sense God's imminent approach that signifies certain destruction if we do not quickly leave the mind. It is clear from the above how the ego made the era of guilt real, necessitating the world as a defense, leading to the perception that the made-up problem of the mind's guilt is in the bodies of the world. An absolutely brilliant plan. And so Jesus must teach us that the world is a maladaptive solution to a non-existent problem. The latter being the mind's guilt that demands a most unhelpful solution. The projection of guilt that our bodies yearn for, as others cannot wait to give us their guilt. It must follow then that the ego's plan of forgiveness to destroy, is to see the sin as real and proceed to do something about it. If we are not interested in appearing spiritual, we will blatantly attack the sinners, find the evildoers, and bring them to justice so they will be punished. If we want to look holy, however, we will say to others in effect, "Yes, you have actually done this terrible thing, but I understand and forgive your sin. I still love you because we are all children of God." The obvious that the ego and its thought system of sin, guilt, and punishment make no sense eludes our recognition, enabling their inherent senselessness to hide behind the ego's clever and mysterious defenses as we read. This is where the ego is forced to appeal to mysteries, insisting that you must accept the meaningless to save yourself. Many have tried to do this in my name, forgetting that my words make perfect sense because they come from God. They are as sensible now as they ever were because they speak of ideas that are eternal. By keeping us focused on the meaningless and mindless, the guilt-ridden mind and sinful body, The ego has effectively kept us from Jesus' meaningful teachings on returning to the mind where we can choose again. Oneness over separation. He happily reflects for our insane minds the eternal truth of God's unified Son, perfectly at one with His Creator and Source. We now turn to the unhealed healer and the section of the same name, a more specialized example of one who practices forgiveness to destroy. Unhealed healers are often well-meaning people who try to help others, to whom this statement from chapter 18 is directly relevant. Trust not your good intentions, they are not enough. It is the well-intentioned people from whom we usually have to flee, for they are not aware of their unconscious guilt that inevitably gets projected. The point here is that unhealed healers deal with the problem where it does not exist, establishing a situation or bodily condition that demands intervention in the form of healing. This is a particularly pernicious form of healing because it appears to be benevolent yet denies the very source of the problem that is the mind's decision to be guilty. This ensures that healing can never occur and is an expression of what the Song of Prayer calls healing to separate. It accentuates the differences between the healer and the patient that, to be sure, exist on the level of the body, but not in the shared mind that is the proper object of all healing.